you're not ready to become an owner-operator, to be quite honest with you, unless you think a certain way, unless you have a certain mindset, or unless you're able to adapt a certain mindset, unless you're able to make the mental shift, especially if you're coming from the world of being a company driver. So in this video, I'm gonna share with you 5 reasons, 5 ways to know that you're just not built to become an owner-operator. If you can't make these mental shifts, or you don't have these ways of thinking that I'm going to discuss with you in this video, in my opinion, you're not going to make it, you're not going to be happy, or you're going to have to find a way to make these mental shifts that I'm going to share with you in this video. The first thing I want to start off with is saying some of you guys, in my opinion, generally speaking, are drawn in and you let free CDL training and new trucks mess you up. You let those things trip you up off gate when you're coming in to the industry, okay? So to be successful as an owner-operator, you need to be willing to invest in yourself. That's one of the first things I would say. You need to be the type of person that you're willing to invest in yourself, okay? And in my opinion, generally speaking, if you're stuck on getting free CDL training, then you need to look at your willingness to invest in yourself. Now, obviously there's a caveat to that. You know, you got to do what you got to do. If that's your only way, then that's your only way, okay? But don't get hung up on that. All right? Don't get hung up on the allure of free CDL training. I actually see people, after being drivers for a while, for several years, they'll say something like, man, you know, I didn't have to pay for I was able to save the money on CDL training when I first got started. Like, you hear 10 and 15 and 20-year veterans say that. In my opinion, that's a small drop in the bucket. Like, I've been driving a truck for 5 years now, and I'm an entrepreneur at heart, I feel. And so I feel that the $5,000 that I spent on CDL school training to help me get my CDL, it's insignificant at this point, okay? And if I had to do it all over again, like, I wouldn't be hesitant about shelling out the money that it costs to go to CDL school if I had it. Again, if that's your only way, or if you got a free program that's available to you, go ahead and take advantage of it. My point in saying this is that shouldn't be a big deal to you, the free CDL training. And again, I'm speaking to the individual that is drawn in by that. Some people are drawn into the industry by that. And again, I'll say that is one of the first tripping points. Now, the second part of that, the new trucks, okay? So you're drawn in by the free CDL training. Now you're working for this company for a certain period of time. You're obligated to. Side note, I don't know about you, but I don't like being unnecessarily obligated to things, all right? That's just a side note. That's just me and what I value, okay? But you're obligated to this company for a certain period of time. And if in that period of time you're able to get in a nice, new, pretty truck, some people become attached to that truck, even though it's not their truck. They start to actually feel like that's their truck. I actually hear company drivers using that terminology. They're that attached to the company truck that they call it their truck, okay? And I don't want to criticize. I'm just saying, to make the mental shift to be an owner-operator, you can't be sucked in by that, okay? You can't be drawn in by free CDL training, and you can't be sucked in by the allure of the company keeping you comfortable in a nice new truck. As an owner-operator, again, you need to be prepared to invest in yourself. If you're not willing to invest in yourself, an entrepreneur wouldn't expect somebody else to invest in them, okay? So to me, that's just a mental shift that the successful entrepreneur, it needs to be able to have. Another thing is that individual needs to be, the successful entrepreneur needs to be willing to wean themselves off of the system. One part of the system being the free CDL training and the allure of the new truck. Like, again, that is, like, to me, I see that from where I stand, I see that as the matrix. Like, that is what draws you in and makes you want to stay there. That's one of the things that makes it easy to get content in those positions. And so you need to make the mental shift of being willing to wean yourself off of the system and take care of yourself, be willing to gamble on yourself, be willing to bet on yourself, and be willing to invest in yourself because you have that type of confidence in you and your ability to figure things out. I was afraid to become an owner-operator until I came to the conclusion, until I allowed myself to come to the conclusion that I would be able to figure it out. And once I came to that conclusion that whatever comes up, I mean, I know I'm going to face some stuff, but I'll figure it out. Once I came to that conclusion, it was not a problem taking the next step and being willing to invest in myself and being willing to wean myself off of the system that was taking care of me, or that I was a part of before that. And speaking of that system, I want to kind of get into that, because the next piece, the next mindset shift, and if you guys are still following the video at this point, I'm going to be honest with you, you're a special individual. Do me a favor, go down below, click the like, and in my opinion, you're a special individual because you realize that how you think matters, okay? So, to become an owner-operator, here's the next mental shift. A successful owner-operators, it's about control, valuing control, and valuing the pursuit of opportunity and the pursuit of freedom, as opposed to security, safety, and predictability, we'll say. In my opinion, that is absolutely what is at the core, what is the driving force behind an individual that is thirsty to become an owner-operator. They want to experience more control, they want to be in control more, and they value being in the position where they can pursue freedom and opportunity. And again, that's just not something for everybody. If that's not something that you value, or that's not your primary values, you're not cut out to be an owner-operator. I'll say again, if you value over those things, if you value safety, security, and predictability over control and the pursuit of freedom and opportunity, then you need to, I would say, stay working for someone, because being an owner-operator may not be for you. Again, I'm an entrepreneur at heart, and I value control. But there is a side of me that does also value predictability and security. So, for instance, the way I run, I pull for a broker, and the broker keeps me busy. And the way that I run, you could say that it's like I'm leased to a broker, which I'm actually not, but it's like I'm leased to a broker and I have a dedicated run. And I like the predictability of how I run. Now, it would be even more predictable and more secure if I was just a driver for him, okay? But I wouldn't be willing to trade in control. And I wouldn't be willing to trade in being in a position to be able to pursue freedom and opportunity, because I believe in me. It kind of goes back. It kind of goes back to that. So nothing wrong with you if you value security, safety, and predictability. But if that's you, you may not be cut out to be an owner-operator, because owner-operators, the reason I became an owner-operator, I want to make more money, but I want to be more in control. And to me, that is one of the driving forces behind a successful owner-operator or a successful entrepreneur. Another mental shift that the company driver needs to be willing to make is you need to be willing to start operating like a business, even right now as a company driver. What I mean by that is you need to understand, just like a business owner understands, that every dollar that you make is not yours. I actually understand how an entrepreneur, a person that takes on risks, could not have saved any money, or not managed to accumulate any money, or have damaged credit, have bad credit. I can understand how that can happen to an entrepreneur. Now, I've never had a job, so if I'm out of line when I say this, let me know down in the comments. But I'm a little bit baffled at how an individual that has the predictability of a job could not be able to manage their money better, could have bad credit, or not have any money, not have saved up any money after being a company driver for an extended period of time. I was looking at a Facebook post the other day from a guy that said he had been a company driver for 10 years, and he was wondering where to get a truck to become an owner-operator with bad credit. Don't know the guy's situation. Anything can happen to anybody at any given time. But I just wonder, as an entrepreneur, it's like, okay, I understand how a person that takes on risk might have gotten themselves in a bad spot or might not have figured it out yet. But an individual that has the predictability of a job, like, you have to be able to manage your money properly. And you can start doing that right now as a company driver. As a owner operator, you're going to need to have your own systems in place for divvying up your money and making sure it goes in the right places and making sure you manage your own affairs. You can start doing that right now as a company driver. Sure, you're taking part in your company's savings plans, and that is automated. It comes out of your check before you see your check. But that is you partaking in a system that your company already has set up for you. And as an owner operator, you're either going to have the ambition to set that system up in an automated fashion for yourself, or you're going to have to do that system manually. Either way, it's about forming the habit of understanding that all of the money that you make is not yours. Bottom line, which kind of leads me to the next mental shift. You may have to look at your relationship with money may have to change as a company driver. Again, especially if you're the type of individual that can't save money, because many people feel that they cannot save money, and I used to feel that way. And my pop used to tell me, which I understand it now, but my pop used to tell me, he used to say, pretend like whatever you're making, you're just making a little bit less. So if you walked into your job tomorrow, your company driving job tomorrow, and they started paying you a couple dollars less, would you be upset? Probably so. Would you quit? Probably not. Would you still figure out a way to pay your bills? Probably so. And essentially that is what it is to say, I got to figure out a way. Because again, a lot of people definitely feel like they have too much month left over at the end of the money, and I most certainly know what that feels like. In practice, you just haven't learned how to pay yourself first yet. You just haven't learned how to live on less than you make, which is a basic financial principle that you're going to have to figure out. And I would suggest it's best to formulate the habit, the mental shift as a company driver, because if you're not able to do that, you're going to have a hard time as an owner operator. If you can't save money, the seeds of greatness are not in you. That's W. Clement Stone that said that. So if you can't save money, you can't accumulate. If you can't accumulate, you won't have anything put up to be able to take advantage of opportunities, right? Money is a tool. So just like a hammer. So a hammer has no benefit if it's just laying in the drawer, okay? So you want to save money, but you don't want to just be saving money. You want to save money so that you can have it available to do something with it, because money is a tool. And just like a hammer has no benefit to anyone if it's not being used. Money has no benefit to you if it's not being used. So you want to save money so that you can do something with it, okay? So again, to me, you may have to, as a company driver, you may have to change your relationship a bit with money. Financial freedom, or freedom, period, in my opinion, in this industry comes in between, or in the gap between what you make and what you spend, which is essentially what you're able to keep. And if you're not able to find a way to keep something, the seeds of greatness may not be within you. You may not be meant to be an owner operator. Maurice Bay, the Helpful Trucker here. For more helpful CDL tips, go here, or consider subscribing to my YouTube channel right here. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but instead you chose to be here with me, and I really appreciate that.